Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Everything Black podcast. Today, we are on episode 4, and we have some good information to talk to you about today. And another day where not a lot of topic, but we're going to talk about some important things. So today is sort of a reunion for me. This is a lot of these people. Well, everybody in this group today is from one of my clubs in high school, the Necktie Club, which was basically just a club to help young black men grow as men, be leaders. We learned about the Robert Rules of Order. We learned how to, contribute to community service events such as like track events for elementary and middle school, cleaning up the school, and many other things. And it helped us just grow. We also got to talk to a lot of many men in the community that were from the fraternity that started this club, the Kappa Alpha Psi, and we'll also talk about that as well later on. But yeah, I'm gonna let these guys introduce themselves, and yeah, also talk about. We're gonna ask you guys what was your role in the club and your name and what you guys plan on doing in the future. By the way, I was the treasurer of the group, so handle a lot of the money and things like that. And I'll hand it over to whoever wants to speak next.
All right. My name is Malachi Williams. I was the president of Necktie Club. And basically my role, I helped set up different events, tried to support any big role of the club like that needed support. I was there to support it. Basically, I was a big hand in setting up the fundraisers, what places we chose, and I led every meeting basically.
Well, I'm Judson Asameni, and I was the secretary, and I basically organized everything. I did meeting minutes. That's basically just the notes, an overview of what happened in previous meetings, and then also what happened for our agenda for what we talked about during the current meeting.
And I'm Jordan Simpson, and I was a regular member, but I helped out with a lot of the events that Necktie did, set up a lot of other fundraisers with other programs, stuff like that.
Yeah, our last big event for the Necktie Club was probably our biggest event that we've ever done. It took a lot of planning since junior year for me and Judson and Malachi as well. Our junior year, we did a lot of the running around. We were just regular members, but the main reason why we wanted to see the club grow was just because we saw the club almost dying. And when we first walked into the school, it was like one of the most glorified clubs. Everybody went. Almost every athlete was there. Everybody always dressed in a suit and tie. Every first Friday, I believe, every month. And, we always came in. We always, carried ourselves in a higher regard. And we wanted to see more of that around the school because when you look good, you feel good. And, that was one of the major things. And, of course, the lesson that came along with it. So, a lot of times we would recruit people around the school, like, hey, join, things like that. And we ended up getting a decent amount of members, and we ended up pulling off a basketball tournament, which is something we had put together for so long. We've been talking about for so long. We finally got it. It was a fall tournament. I think we had, I don't exactly remember how many teams, but I know it was about 8 teams.
Six?
Six teams?
Oh, yeah. It was around that. It was around that.
Yeah, we got partnerships from the Tropical Smoothie, who came in with gift cards for the winning team. We had snacks that we sold. We made a lot of money from that. And it was like something that we want to keep carrying on in the coming years. So my question to you guys would be, why did you guys decide to join?
I'm not gonna lie. The reason I joined, I think, was because of Malachi. Because I think they just described it like a club that kind of was like meeting with young leadership, and then we can learn different things. And yeah, honestly, just through Malachi, he's the one who showed it to me.
I joined in freshman year because me and my friends, it was like our freshman year in high school during the time of year when they put all of the boards for the clubs up. Me and my friends saw Necktie Club, and we were like, oh, we should do that because it just sounds cool, dressing up in suits, coming in. And when we went in, it was like 50 people. It was like so many people in that club, and it was professional. It was organized. The pizza was good, and it was just like it was something to be there for, it seemed, and it just seemed fun all around.
I think the reason why I joined was just because just seeing my brother in like a leadership role, just like seeing him kind of take charge and things and making a difference in the school, just kind of like motivated me to kind of want to be a part of that, and just the brotherhood of people who just looked like me, but had a little bit more experience. It wasn't just all like business. We made jokes. A lot of help with work and even homework and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason why I joined, by the way, yeah, that is my brother Jordan. But yeah, the reason why I joined was just because basically what he was saying, the fellowship and like a brotherhood that you could never break. I mean, Judson up top, he's actually my editor, like helps edit all these videos, and like thank you to you because I don't know where I would be making these videos without him, and like Malachi as well, someone I could talk to, and like if I think who was it? I was working at McDonald's at the time. We walked down to like get boba one time. It was just a good experience, because I think I was having a bad
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was just a bad day, and it was like those kind of people you need in your life because like you can't go through this life alone. Like you need people in your life, and the club like really helped me because like it gave me someone that looked like me, that was sometimes going through the same struggles as me and understood kind of like what it's like. So I was like, this is definitely a club for me because not only has it helped me grow as a leader, which I think it's definitely helped me grow as a man, as a leader, and help me become a better, upstanding citizen in society today and in the in the world. And yeah, I think it definitely gave me a bigger like heart and things like that. But yeah, so I think my favorite moment from Necktie Club would be well, there's a lot, but I would probably say maybe I think it was the basketball tournament. Just like seeing how many people came out and seeing how much support we got and how much love we got. It was almost like bringing the old Necktie Club back. Like it was so. I mean, I didn't join my freshman year, but my sophomore year when I joined, I could see that like this used to be a big club. Like I even my freshman year, I saw it was a big club, and then sophomore year to see how like it kind of like diminished, and then saw how like we kind of like got it to expand and grow bigger and get better. I was very happy for that, and I was very excited for the future because I love to come back and speak to the people of the next Necktie Club, and then hopefully expand it, nationwide. Because I think every school needs a necktie club in their school. But yeah, so Justin, what would you say your favorite moment was?
I'd probably say during the meetings, at least when we have like guest speakers, because especially people like Cavante Duckett and I can't think of any others, but any of those like guest speakers, whenever they come, like it would really hit whatever they said, like the whole club would understand and like they like relate to everything that they're saying, and it really felt like there's something that we could learn from them. So also the basketball tournament that was really good as well because like I joined a club late, so it kind of like showed me how like the club should have been. So like when we did something as big as that, I like felt satisfied, that like we actually achieved what we wanted to.
Yeah, speaking of Mr. Duckett, unfortunately couldn't make it. But I believe he was the first black councilman in Frederick. So
Yeah, I'm pretty
and
sure.
also started the Necktie Club. Like all of Frederick County wouldn't be here without, we wouldn't have Necktie Clubs without him. Started getting T-Row, and he was even impressed that we even got the basketball tournament done because it was something that his Necktie Club wanted to do for so long, and to see us finally get it done, he's very proud, and like that's another reason why I was happy, just like to see that we're carrying on the legacy that he created, even though he went to a different school, still carrying on that legacy. But yeah, Malachi, what was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment was probably my presidential speech. Like I've always been kind of like an awkward and shy person going through high school, and it was just doing that. I was like really nervous to do it just because like Necktie Club has always been something I like was pretty passionate about. It was my favorite club in school, and it was like being able to be president, like the head of the club, like that really like was something I wanted to do. And my speech, like once I like realized I had won, it just like made the moment for me. And honestly, it was like it was honestly something that it was like a good experience for me, like being able to speak in front of people, like put myself out there, like say why I think I'd be a good president and stuff. But yeah, that was it for me.
Yeah, that was that was a really good election. Me and Malachi actually ended up both going for president. And we both had like that kind of I'm sorry, I can't think of the word, but we both had that kind of like acceptance of whoever wins, we know the club's in good hands. And it was, I said, we did a numerous amount of things. We did a Lido's Pizza fundraiser. We did basketball fundraisers. And like, I think we did a Chipotle fundraiser as well, right? Did we do a Chipotle fundraiser or did we not get that one?
We
I don't
did
think we
a
did that.
tropical smoothie fundraiser,
Yeah.
And tropical
Yeah.
but not Chipotle.
Yes. Yeah, the tropical smoothie fundraiser was another big one. And I mean, like I said, we knew like whoever the club went into, it was going to be in good hands, especially with the leaders that we also had. And then, you know, it worked out because I still got to be the treasurer and we all got to work collectively to continue to grow the club. So, Jordan, what was your favorite moment? I know you're still a new member, but I'm sure like something has piqued your interest on it.
I would just say my favorite moment. I didn't really have one specific one. I would just say like every meeting, like just being able to like go there, like nobody all looked the same, very, very diverse, and just like meeting different people from HBCUs that came to talk to me and just taught me so much stuff about being a man, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, even the superintendent came in to even watch one of our meetings. That was crazy.
Yeah,
That was cool when she came in.
Yeah, that was something that we did not expect. But like, you know, to see like that we got that much support, you know, it was a good thing to see. So I couldn't get the other guy on, but Jordan, a main reason why I know you're a young member, but you're planning on running for office, and you know that's something big because all three of us did it, and you know it's definitely no easy task. But for you, what would you say? What would you say? Like, what do you have? What is your purpose for the club? What do you want to see with it as you grow? And what role do you want as well?
Think I'm aiming for more like vice president, president maybe. And I think like after these seniors leave, I think it's really just making sure that the club is still like there. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I see it kind of like dying down, like people kind of losing hope in it. But I think that's my main role. I think if there's a necktie club with at least like even half the members that we had last year, I think that that's pretty good.
Okay, and I guess the advice I was going to give the advice. My advice I would give to you is just like, you know, even though we weren't members when we weren't not members, we weren't leadership roles, we still went out there and did that. Make sure you still give that same love to people that aren't in leadership positions, because sometimes the people that are in the shadows in the dark are doing the most hard work and you don't even see it. It's just the leaders get thrown into the light. And I think that's what we really did. As our junior year, like our junior year, we got more people and we did all the fundraising. Like our leaders, no offense to them, but they kind of like were like more laid back because they were focused on college and stuff like that, which I understand. But
like junior year, it was me, you, Nick, and I think it was maybe Najee.
Yeah.
Like we did like everything, man. Just because of how much we had liked the club. Like we went to all of the like fundraisers, the volunteering events, like the cleaning up after school, just because of how much we liked the club and how much of a passion we had for it.
Yeah, and that's like something that I think it didn't go unnoticed, but it was definitely something that was like, wow, like, you know, like to see that we had the initiative to step up, even though we weren't in leadership position, to see us grow like that. That was something that was so important. But Judson, like, what would you say?
Advice wise?
Yeah.
I'd probably say that like even if you feel like you're not a leader now, at least give yourself time to grow, especially like with me at least. Like Malcolm, I feel like he might remember, but like I was trying to practice my speech the day of, because like me, I'm more like a spontaneous person.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the moment, I gotta like say everything. So I was practicing in the first block, and like I was stressing so much, and I was so nervous, and even though, because that was like one of my first major roles of being in a club, and then I went for secretary because I was like I didn't think I could do anything higher, even though like I realized how much work the secretary was, and like especially with that one meeting that I had to lead myself when all of you guys were sick. I feel like I really like it helped me, like the club helped me grow as being a leader, even when I started I was like scared that I wasn't good enough, you know. So like Jordan, no matter like if you don't feel like you can go for president, even if you do win president, like you can grow into a good president extremely fast.
Very
Yeah,
true.
and roles, they're honestly just a name. Like
Yeah.
you were secretary, Judson, but you could have said you were president, and anybody would have like believed you because of how much you would help the club. Like your role as a secretary, it was like you did so much, and just like thank you for that.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah, no
like
problem.
I used to
without you that year, we would not have made it. Like
yeah,
don't take the name of a role like too seriously, because you can do anything. You don't even have to be in an officer position, and you could be the main one leading everything, like how Jaden was talking about we had done our junior year.
yeah. I mean, I've seen Judson's notes, and it is like no joke. Like having to just every single minute write something down as we're talking. I mean, like you're trying to get involved in the conversation, but you're also trying to learn, and like it's so
Yeah.
much. And it's such a big change to not a big change, but it's such a big role. Like you said, like secretary, you may think, oh, he doesn't really do much, but no, like the amount of work you have to put in to be a secretary in that club
Yeah,
is
honestly.
so important. Like everything is every little piece is a bigger piece to a puzzle. Is a smaller piece to a bigger puzzle. And it's just so important that each person does their job. And like you said, like when we all weren't there, I can only imagine how much extra stress was put on him, because not only did he have to lead the meeting, he had to address the meeting, he had to open, he had to close it, he had to move the motions and all that while still having to control the minutes. Like, that's just something that, it takes a lot of heart and passion and the love for a club to continue to do that. So definitely something big. So yeah. Unfortunately, we did have a big loss. Someone that I believe he was the president of the Kappa Alpha Psi chapter in our Frederick community.
Mr. Gardner.
Yeah, Mr. Gardner.
Yeah.
He came to every meeting, always there to talk to us, and a big important piece to all of our lives. He gave us great wisdom and told us like how we can just grow as young Black men and be better in society. And to lose him was such a big loss to the club, and we gratefully bounced back, and named the whole basketball tournament after him. Got his family to come out, and it was a good event. And I think that might have been my favorite speaker, between him and Mr. Duckett, who has helped me, through high school with mentoring me and things like that. But definitely both of them were both big mentors in my life. And yeah. What would you guys say was your favorite speaker, and what was your favorite kind of lesson you got from them?
I guess I'll go first. Me personally, I think my favorite speaker was definitely Mr. Duckett. And I think what he taught me was like to not let your surroundings like predict how you perform in the future. Because like what he taught me was he came from T-Row and nobody really expected someone from T-Row to be in the position that he ended up being in, especially being his race. It was just inspiring to me.
For me, I forgot the guy's name, but he had started out with a kid, and I think he had went to jail, and eventually he had went on to like act in shows and do really important community like service things. I forgot his name.
Yeah, he showed like the resilience kind of thing, and that was
Yeah, I remember who you're talking about.
yeah. I don't remember his name. I forget his name, but I know what you're talking
Yeah.
It
about.
just
Justin,
shows
I
that like no matter what position you're coming from, you can always come back. Like nothing is the end. Like from what he was saying, like you would have thought it was over for him. He was in his 20s, like at rock bottom basically, but he really showed that there's like that there's like no such thing as like never. Like he came back and he's successful, has kids, is married, and yeah.
I think for me, I think my favorite was, if you guys remember, there's that one guy who asked us about like which place has the best fries. So like,
Oh wow,
That was the meeting.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know that one. I know that
that's the one you're talking about, Malachi.
No, I was saying that the one that you're mentioning, I think that was the one that we were absent for.
No,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we were, because he was like,
Yeah.
I remember we came back and everybody started talking about fries. And I was just so confused.
Yeah. Wait, Jordan, do you remember that one at least? Because
I actually
I can't remember his name.
I do remember that one. It started off with like with French fries. Like he asked us all like what was our favorite French fries and stuff like that. And I remember he made a couple jokes, and then what he really started talking about was he had his picture comparing a 25-pound weight to like your
Was it
PR.
10? I
Like
think I was there, yeah.
like your PR, yeah, like your PR, and like how you would take on like a 25 instead of like your PR. And he just said like you kind of got to think about that, like your obstacles in life. Like some of them are going to be harder than others, but it's the mindset that'll get you through it.
For sure.
Yeah. Like, especially with him, I feel like most of their talks, especially in the Necktie Club, like it made me like change at least as a person. But like his kind of like inspired me to like push myself for whatever I'm doing. And then also just with like Mr. Duckett, he's like a fan favorite between like all of us. But like he was also just inspirational by like how like in a field where nobody was like him almost. Well, nobody was like him actually, but like you're against all odds, and then he still was able to overcome all that. Like that was inspirational.
Yeah, what was his saying? I forget what his saying was. It was oh yeah. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And it's basically like saying that's how he became councilman, because like how are you going to advocate for black people if you're not there? You know what I mean? And you don't know who's talking about you or what they're talking about if you're not in those settings, you're not in those rooms to advocate and talk. And, you know, that's what really led him to, you know, go and be what he was. And, you know, it's great that we have someone of color there to, you know, advocate our interest and, you know, our concerns and things like that. So, yeah, that was something that definitely stuck with me from what he said.
It just went on to show like the positives of putting yourself out there.
Exactly. But yeah, so at Necktie Club, we definitely talked about a lot of different things, but we also learned one of the most major things, which was the Robert's Rules of Order. Usually it would start with Malachi starting the meeting, motioning to start the meeting, and then someone else having to second that. And after that second, the meeting would begin. And Mr. Duckett taught us like that it couldn't be someone in the leadership role. So Malachi would have to start. Malachi, didn't you tell you couldn't start the meeting anymore, right? It was like had to be someone that wasn't in.
No, Malachi could start the meeting, but he couldn't motion, I believe. I don't think he can motion.
Okay, yes. So someone else had to give him
right.
motions to start it.
Motion for like conversation topics.
Yeah. And that was something that we took a whole meeting to learn, and then eventually we got the hang of it to where, you know, we learned how to run a fully functioning meeting. And I think it helped us because learning Robert's Rules Order is so important, especially with a club like that, because everybody can't just talk at one time, you know, and we can't just go from one topic to another one without motioning. And I think that really taught us like, hey, like, and you had to close off a topic before you could start another one, which is another thing. Like, so people didn't get confused and things like that. And it helped us a lot, and it helped us grow as a club. And I think a lot of people learned from that as well. Even if you weren't, because it actually made people that weren't in leadership roles actually have to get up and second things and get up and actually talk about and motion things, and it put them in the meeting with us. So it was definitely big for the club and big for everybody in it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was just gonna agree with that. Like, kind of made like the people who maybe didn't talk a lot or maybe didn't feel like Malachi, kind of made them feel like that in the moment and just gave them more confidence, honestly.
Mhm. And even as our club grew, we got more support, and Miss Massey actually ended up, starting the women's club as well. So the women's version of the Necktie Club, which is was it Fem Power? Is that what you called it? Or was
Yeah,
Fem
that's exactly.
empowerment or fem power, yeah.
I think it is called Fem Power, and
and so hopefully we see more. Hopefully, Jordan, you can set that up to make more collaborations with them, because that's definitely something that could help. You guys both have kind of like the same, challenges and struggles, but you guys also have the same ideas. You guys can work together and, do things that could, make big changes for the school and the community around you guys.
They did a lot for like our senior year. That was like their first year of being a club, and they did a lot of good and like a lot of service things.
Yeah, I think they did like a clothes drive. They did a
they did lots of clothes drives.
Yeah, they were very involved. I can't even lie. They were definitely involved.
Yeah, me and Alex, and we went to the Juneteenth event, and like we could see like the turnout, like people that showed up. It was just a big celebration. It was just was something that I hope to see more in the Necktie Club in the future.
Yeah, it was really good to see,
especially with but like with Miss Massey's just organization, I feel like that's probably why that the Fem Power Club skyrocketed as much as it did in the first year.
Yeah, because she like almost single-handedly was like, we're gonna just muscle through this and keep it going. Yeah. And another thing that got started was the Black Student Union as well. We haven't had one in. I think we had one, but it stopped. Was it never?
Oh wait, no. I actually think we might have.
We had one, and it kind of just died out. And apparently, at our school, we had never had a Black student president, like ever. So that was another thing that we never had. So we made our Black Student Union. It's grown a lot, and they've truly. Judson, you were part of the club, and I think Jordan, you were in it for a little while as well. And Miss Massey, another thing, Miss Massey just put her hands on and pushed it through, and it just skyrocketed, and it just helped grow. And so that's another thing that's growing. And I think that's, like I said before, like our school being so diverse as it is compared to the rest of the county is what really helps us with these different clubs that sometimes don't work as well as other schools because of the population and the racial population there. But it's helped us in our community because of how much it's grown. My question is, what do you guys think we could have done better as far as the Necktie Club, and what are the things that you guys are proud of that we did as a Necktie Club?
Honestly, I think I could have been more active as a president, just because like it was senior year. There was just a lot going on, and that's really no excuse because I was the president. I took on that responsibility, but definitely being more active, putting more effort towards learning the Robert's Rules of Order, because you guys saw it. I definitely did mess up a lot, which is why we had that meeting to like go over and learn it. But it was a good learning experience for everyone. It was just like just putting more effort forward. And I guess something I wanted to do one more fundraiser before the year ended. It's just that I was so busy with like everything that's been going on with like college, just getting all my stuff filled out, finishing a lot of things. That's just a bit.
Jordan, you're going into a club, so these are kind of things you can make better, but what do you think you can do for next year? Like, what do you think you can do to make it better, and what were you happy that we did that you hope to continue?
I would just say like things that we did well, definitely being open for new clubs like Miss Massey's club, collabing with them. I really like that. Kind of like getting it out there, just like getting the club out there, like fundraisers and stuff like that. And I think just honoring the man who started it all, Mr. Gardner. But I think some things that maybe we could improve on is maybe I would say better attendance from like getting the minor people, like making sure that they still think that they matter and that we don't just kind of like lose sight of them, but also like not really forcing everyone to come and stuff like that.
How about you, Justin?
Yeah, that's pretty
Judson,
good.
I'm sorry, Judson.
I feel like honestly I agree completely with Jordan, because not even just with attendance with people coming, but I feel like also just like people's mental attendance
Yeah.
like during the club. I feel like that if they're like more focused or more invested into what's happening during the meetings and other stuff like that, that like that's something that we needed to improve, which we started to improve, and like we tried to, especially with the executives and all this.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah, we had a lot
especially
of.
just
Okay, go ahead. Oh, go ahead, mother.
especially with just focus and like people just also with attire, all the nitpicky things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he's saying, I think we had a lot of executive meetings about like, hey, from now on, we're going to start putting a 3-strike rule on if you're not dressed, all day. Because a lot of people didn't get dressed. They would only get dressed for the last couple of minutes, and they would only use it as an excuse to get out of class and like, things like that. We started putting 3-strike rules. And then also like we would have times where members wouldn't be there the whole time people were talking. And it's like the whole point of the club, the food is there and it's there to enjoy, but enjoy the word that you're getting because those words of wisdom shouldn't be just taken for granted. Like these are things
Yeah.
you can put into your life and make better. And I've took a lot of the things that we learned from all the different speakers and put them into my life and try to see where I can be a better individual and a person from what they've said. Because, they went through high school. They went through what we're going through now, college. Like, so, hearing from them and seeing what they did in their lives and how I can make mine better is definitely something I care about. So, yeah, that was those I think what Justin was saying. Sorry, what Justin was saying, what Jordan was saying, with the growing of like the things we could see better was like, yeah, we grew the club, but we got a lot of members that weren't always active mentally and physically. Like, I mean, even this year, like cleaning the school and things like that, like it was like the same people from last year that were non-members that became leadership members showed up again, and it was like the non-members didn't. I mean, the like major members didn't show up, and it was like, well, this is kind of like a club thing, and you can't just show up for the meetings and not be there for the fundraisers as well. So that was something that definitely kind of bugged us at times. So, but as far as like what we did good, like I think that we gave more awareness to the club. We got like more announcements about us now. We got more things going on. Our 12 days of kindness has been like major. Like a lot of people loved what we were doing with the 12 days of kindness, and we truly like started something that hopefully will continue to trickle down. I think that's the only thing I'm worried about is just like, will it continue to be picked up? And I'm hoping that we put the club in the best place possible, and someone can just pick it up and keep running where we left off at. So, for sure.
Yeah, off of what you were saying, I actually really forgot about the 12 days of kindness. That was a great accomplishment for us. That was one of my favorite things that we did. The first time that we did 12 days of kindness where we had it like rolling throughout the year, that was probably my favorite moment. I just remembered that. And also what you were saying earlier about going to like the volunteering events and seeing the same people as last year, that goes on to something I want to say to you, Jordan, since you're going into a leadership position. These next years, you're going to have to really try, man, because sometimes it feels like my grade, like us, me, Judson, Jaden, our grade was the last grade that like had the last people that really like had a passion for the club.
Yeah, definitely.
And that really shows. I mean, I can take some faults in it because when I was looking for new members during my junior year, because I could see a lot of the people were leaving, that like I did advertise it as you get to dress nice and get pizza, which did attract a lot of, or not a lot, but a good amount of members that we weren't so proud of.
Yeah.
But yeah, just make sure you're getting the message out there and just keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah, I think we did better as it went on. Like a lot of people started to like focus more, and they started to understand like, okay, we have to kind of like pay attention because these things actually matter to us. And I think us as leaders, we could have did a little bit better cracking down on it earlier, but I think we were so focused on like we had to grow the club in some way
Yeah.
to make sure to ensure that it wasn't just all seniors in each meeting to the point where we don't have no hope. So there has to be something to pass it down to. So I do think this is, but now that it's a more of an established club, you guys can start to like weed out the bad and keep the good and help it grow.
Yeah, really emphasize on cracking down, because I made that mistake too late. I remember I had to kick someone, but it was like I already like he already like kind of took advantage of the club before I did that, so I felt like I was too late in a sense. So like, yeah, just make sure you're cracking down on these things. Make sure you're getting the rules set. But yeah.
Also, with just the people, especially with how how Malachi was saying that like our grade was like the last one that like had a passion for something. I feel like you could see it throughout the whole school and like different clubs as well. Because with all my clubs that I was in, it'd be like 80% seniors or 90% seniors. And then not even because like we didn't recruit, it was that there wasn't any passion or like motivation from other grades to join. So I feel like Jordan, especially when you guys are trying to recruit, which I feel like you should definitely push for, you should like not give up, even if you don't get that many people, because you still want to, like Jaden said, you still want to have something to have the club pass on to and like keep on going.
Yeah, and to go off of that, like that's really like the quarantine effect. Like we were the last freshmen before quarantine, and now you see everybody came into high school. Everybody's like too cool to like do these kinds of things, and you can definitely see it in the school spirit, the clubs. Nobody wants to join any clubs. Everybody just wants to like be to themselves, and like it just seems like nobody really like had like a lot of people stopped having a passion for like things like these and stopped like enjoying the little things.
Yeah, we lost a lot of the passion for sure. And I feel like it's just also like you were saying, the COVID thing. And I mean, clubs matter so much. Like, I think that people don't realize that. I mean, if you want to go to college, not saying you have to join a club, but putting a club on your resume, putting any type of extracurricular activity on your resume just makes colleges want you more, because it's like, okay, so he did more than just go to school every day. He actually, took the time of his day to go to a club while also focusing on school, while also having these good grades. He also did a sport on top of joining this club. And like things like that matter so much, because without them, like, schools will kind of like pass you on and be like, well, let's look at someone that does a little bit more, because they care about not only how you were in school, but how you were in the community. And Necktie Club is a great opportunity for young men, and then of course fem power for young women to grow and put something on a college resume that means something, because things like this, they grow. Like we got I think it was 3 different scholarships from Necktie Club. I know it was one from a fraternity, I think it was Kappa Alpha Psi. There was a Black Excellence one, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I think so. If not, that was the Black and Gold Scholarship.
Okay, yeah, but there was another one, African American students as well. But yeah, all those matter, like being in those clubs and stuff like that, because they look at that as well. Like they look to see, like, what are you doing in your school? Like, what are you doing for your community to give you this money? And yeah, so I think when you guys were talking about sorry, it's still my mind. You guys were talking about how they're losing. You guys, like you were saying, you guys said they were losing passion, and I don't even know if it's just losing passion or if it's just like they don't care anymore about school, because like I think we saw it in the school, like as a whole. Like when we came back, it was like we had 2 sets of freshmen, because the sophomores technically didn't get a chance to experience high school, and then the freshmen that were coming in never experienced high school. So it was like just 2 sets of freshmen, and that's how we had so many incidents of like vandalism in the bathrooms and just a lot of like immature things going on in the school. And I think like COVID really set us back in that type of sense. So hopefully, with COVID kind of being farther away from us, people will start to grow and understand, like, clubs are important to you. So yeah. Yeah. Another member that couldn't be here. I have waiting to address this. Haven't addressed this in a while, but Shahid unfortunately cannot join the Everything Black podcast anymore because of complications with his career choice. And like always, we wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully, succeeds. Love you, brother. But yeah. So yeah, just in case you guys are wondering, like, hey, where's Shahid and things like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, he won't be back, but yeah, definitely still with us in spirit. Definitely still hoping us nothing but the best, and wish the same for him as well. With high school ending, what kind of things have you guys been up to in like your lives, just in general?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. I don't have that much, at least with what I've been doing, but at least throughout like the summer, I told myself that like I'll try and like focus on like improving myself, but then also getting ready for college. So then I've definitely been working a lot because not even just after money to spend, but just with college and everything, you definitely need money. It's just almost it's so stressful. And then also just like improving myself mentally, I guess. That like trying to increase my mental like fortitude almost, like not giving up on anything that I'm doing with even little task or just to I don't know, like do my own hobbies, like stuff like making videos and other things like that. That it's like, I gotta keep pushing. I gotta give like 150% no matter what it is. And yeah, honestly, just trying to enjoy my summer before college, I guess, and also just getting ready for the future because I know what's coming.
Yeah, and um, I mean, putting like you said, your mental fortitude and things like that, like putting time away to like do things for the show. I just want to let you know there's like not even amount of thanks I can give you to what you've done so far and just all the work you've done. Like more than appreciate it because, like I said, like the edits that you do, like I there was things I was like, that's even possible. Like you making it, they making the logo transparent and putting it in the bottom right corner, like things like that. Things like I never thought I could even do it. Like I saw the vision, but like you kind of like really put it into action, and I appreciate you that for taking the time out and doing things like that. And like I said, no thanks can even be enough to say what you've done, doing what you've done for this and putting it on Spotify. I mean, I just want everybody to let you know, like he put everything on Spotify. Like I gave him like kind of like, hey, this is what you can do to put on there, but like uploading and everything else is all on him. And it's a lot of work. Like I said, it's almost like being a secretary. Like it's a lot of work to put everything on your computer and put all that time into editing this video. He was also going on vacation at the time, so I'm like, hey, I don't want to bother you, but can you kind of like do this? And like, it was almost like, hey, no problem, I got you. And like, things like that. I'm just so happy and like, just like I said before, like Necktie Club puts you closer to people that look like you and want to help you. Like, and it's vice versa for Malachi, for Jordan, of course, my brother, but and Justin as well. Like, no matter what, like when you need something, we got you. And that's just kind of like how the club has grown. Like, I feel like whenever we needed something, our brothers got each other. Yeah, Malachi, what have you been up to?
Since high school ended, I've been up to a lot. I've been going around, not really traveling, but I've been out a lot, trying to like reach like mental goals for myself. I've been studying anatomy more. Actually, during the summer in early June, I participated in a modeling competition, which is why I was asking about like networking with your uncle because like I also have experience and I'd like to get more experience because that's like a field I'm interested in. But I actually like something that was a big coincidence was like when I'd watched the previous episode, you said that your uncle studied accounting. Like I'm going to study accounting in the fall, which is like which is funny. But
yeah, he watched. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, he watches these episodes. So like, he's gonna see this and be like, "Wow, like this is like crazy that it's such a coincidence that this is happening." And yeah, like I said, like once again, like of course, definitely want to get you guys to talk, because like that's another thing. This platform is for like people to see people that are inspiring. Like Justin with your computer software. Malachi, you're doing computer software, right? I didn't get it wrong, right? It's computer software. What is it? What do you study? I'm sorry, Justin. No, Justin. What do you study? Is it computer software?
Oh, me? Yeah, I'm doing computer science, but like I'm on the software side, so yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, you with your computer science. I'm sure there's people that want to edit videos and things like that, because I mean that's something they enjoy and things that they like doing and things like that. And then Malachi, you and your modeling and going into finance and things like that. Like seeing us do it, they're like, oh, okay. If I can see them do it, I can do it as well. And I think that's what I've tried to do. Give you guys like a platform of, there's a path to get to where you want to be, no matter what you want to do or who you are. And yeah, also. Judson, you did a lot of the editing for the Necktie Club videos as well, right? How was that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like? Like, did you enjoy it? Like, what was your favorite video that you put out that you edited?
I think my favorite video that I edited might have been. It's actually one I haven't released yet, which I really need to work on it. But it's the video for our basketball tournament. Because like that one, it kind of like, at least with everything that I'll do videos for, I use it as a chance to like grow in my skills. So then at least with filming the basketball tournament, like it was fun to get like people's different reactions, especially when like we interviewed the winners of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we got like personal with like even people who are outside of our club, because the winners or all the players, they couldn't be part of the club. But like yeah, especially just interactive videos that I feel like have a connection between like both the viewers and myself. Those I feel like just are the ones I enjoy the most.
Do you plan on? Question for all you guys. Do you guys plan on joining the fraternity? I know Kappa Alpha Psi is. I don't know if it's at everyone's school. I know it's at my school. I don't know if I'm gonna join, but it's definitely something that's in my in my future that I'm kind of planning on, but I'm not sure. We'll see where the future takes me, kind of thing. But yeah, are you guys planning on joining one?
Honestly, that hasn't been something I've really put much thought into. I don't really know if I would, but after hearing that question, like it's definitely something I'll think about. But it's never really something I planned on.
Yeah, same as Malachi. Like, I thought that I would join a club that's like similar to Necktie, but then I never really thought about the fraternity itself, or at least like the root of it. So I'll definitely also have to look into that.
Jordan?
I don't really know yet.
Yeah, I mean, you still got a couple years, so
Yeah.
I can understand why you're kind of like still hesitant on that. So yeah, speaking of the fraternity, I was gonna do a historical figure on the Kappa Alpha Psi, but technically it's more than one person, so we're gonna get into that. So the Kappa Alpha Psi is a college fraternity, and it actually started in like one of the most racist places you could have been in at that time. It was established in Indiana, and it was a total of it was 10 black men that founded the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity in Indiana. Two of them being Elder Watson Diggs and Byron Kenneth Armstrong. Both of them came from Howard and saw that there was a fraternity there that was all black, and they were like, hey, we can kind of do this. And they moved on to Indiana, where they met the other founders, which was Ezra D. Alexander, Henry Turner Asher, Marcus Peter Blakemore, Paul Wayman Kane, George Wesley Edmonds, Guy Levis Grant, Edward Giles Irvin, and John Milton Lee. All of these members worked together to build this fraternity in Indiana, which wasn't easy because in Indiana, they didn't accept black people at the time. They were a college that had a black population of less than 1%. And it was so bad that sometimes black people would go weeks without even seeing each other. On top of that, the Black people that went there were not allowed to stay on campus and were not really given any accommodations off campus and were denied use of all of the university facilities as well. As well as that, they also were only allowed to play track and field was the only sport available to them at that college. So yeah, they worked together to create this fraternity, and as you can see, it's grown a lot. We even have a chapter here in Frederick where the president of the club, Mr. Maybe it's Holloway or Holiday, comes in and he talks to us, and he joins our meetings in place of Mr. Gardner, of course. And he talks to us and gives us wisdom and comes on another guest speaker. And yeah, the club has expanded since then. So thank you to those 10 men that helped grow a fraternity. And like I said, it was not easy. I mean, going from a place that's very racist. I mean, you're still working on getting your education. You're building a whole fraternity, where people are literally hating on you, like literally don't want you to succeed at all. I mean, they had to, see each other in between classes, in between lunch. And, lunch is like such a short time because you got to get right back to class and walk all around the campus. And, it's not easy, especially coming from, places where they couldn't even stay on campus, so it's definitely hard. And so thank you to them. But yeah, do you guys have any things you kind of want to talk about besides this?
I think we could talk about current problems facing the Black community and what we personally think could be a solution for them.
Most definitely. I think one of the most recent ones we talked about was the Carly Russell case. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one. Basically, it was a case where it was a 26-year-old woman, Carly Russell. She saw a toddler on the road and was kidnapped. But the story gets fishy because she was kidnapped.
Okay, I did hear about this.
Okay,
actually.
all right.
And
so, yeah, it ended up not being
exposed that it was fake.
Yeah, it was fake. She was trying to get her boyfriend's attention, which actually it's crazy because when I released the reel on that on YouTube, a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, she faked it," and things like that. And I just wanted you guys to know, yeah, she did.
I just think it was just bad because like Black women actually do get kidnapped, and when somebody does something like this, people are just gonna assume, oh, they're probably faking it. They're probably just chilling out somewhere. And I just think this kind of thing, it does a lot of harm to like these kinds of cases, not even just for like Black women, but women in general, especially in a society where we're like women aren't believed a lot when they are victims.
Yeah,
that's for sure. And a lot of people, another thing that definitely heard was like a lot of people like, well, what about women of other races? And they do matter, of course, they absolutely do. I think I mainly spotlighted Black women in general, just because if a white woman kind of goes missing, it's there's a lot more popularity on it, and a lot more people are rushed to the scene to see it, and a lot of there's like a big watch party to find her. And like with the Carly Russell case, that's kind of like what it was. It was like a lot of people were looking for this one woman, and that's something that we don't normally get because like everywhere you go, you can see missing papers everywhere of Black women, Black kids, Black teens, Black adults. And like it's like they almost go unnoticed and they go missing for days, weeks, months. And I think it was a book I read about last year. Man, I don't remember that book. But it was based on a true story in Chicago where the girl literally went missing because she gone missing. She didn't even show up to school, and the cops like didn't even like care to find her, like, and she was in a bad household, and she ended up actually being found with her brother or sister, younger brother or sister, in a freezer in the meat. I think it was in the freezer, dead. Their mom killed them and just stuffed them in the freezer, and they never got found until like maybe a year later. I forget what that book is called, but yeah, that was like, things that happen in the real world. Like they don't go for. Sometimes they just don't get found, and like I'm not saying like all races don't like have cases like that, but it's so much more common in the Black community because of our race, and it's things like that that has to be spotlighted and talked about more. So yeah, what do you guys think, Justin and Jordan? What do you guys think about that case?
think I like 100% agree with Malachi with how it's painful to like hear that people can go and try and fake something like that, and then it honestly just makes it so it's like it's overshadowing the actual issue of like actual Black women or even just people in general just getting kidnapped. That especially with Malachi saying that like women like they don't get as they're not as believed most of the time whenever they say something that for somebody to be kidnapped and then now you're like breaking trust in society that if somebody else goes in or somebody's reported that they're kidnapped, it's like, oh, they're probably lying or they just set this up for something for their own gain. Because like especially with like, being your editor and like putting all this stuff on the podcast, like I remember when I first uploaded the episode after your short and then all the comments, it was just straight comments about how saying like she lied. And like
Yeah.
even just seeing that before us talking now, like it felt like it hurt me a little that I didn't even want to look at them anymore. That we weren't talking about the issue that people have been kidnapped, and especially Black women or just women in general, and instead they're getting overlooked. And then even just the comment itself is like proving that we're overlooking the issue that there's people that are getting kidnapped.
Yeah, and it's just all that's why I was like so bad to see because like I knew it was gonna be a lot of hate comments and I knew like even starting this podcast I knew it was gonna be hate comments because I mean even need to read the title like it's not for every race and I don't want it to be said that like it's like oh we don't respect any other race which isn't true at all like we do. It's just that for me personally I mean all minorities deserve to be talked about but I can only talk about my struggles being a Black person. Like I can't talk about struggles of other minorities like Hispanics and people of other countries and things like that because I'm not of that race. I don't go through the things that they go through. But I do know my race and I do know things that my race goes through. And that's why I made this podcast because I can talk about those things and people can relate to these things because these things happen all the time. And yeah, I think her lying just affected it so much because that publicity could have went to so many other things, like finding people that actually needed to be found, and it just sucks that, that kind of happened. And it's just such a setback for the community. Jordan, what do you feel about it?
I definitely agree with what the both of you have said. It kind of creates that hesitation almost like, is this really real or is this like another case that just gets blown way out of proportion for no reason? And I just think that like it's way more time consuming than like focusing on other people that like you see like you said like that often get missed out on instead of chasing some random story that wasn't even true.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. Malachi, do you have another topic that you have? I know you were talking about you want to talk about other topics. But yeah, what kind of topics were you thinking about talking about?
I didn't really have any ideas for many other topics, but actually just did think about one. What's your opinion on people saying rap music is detrimental to the Black community? And I want to hear everybody's takes on that.
Since I think we were talking about this before too. What's it called? Atlanta. That show has shown me a lot about like the Black culture and like there's so many different things that you can see. I think it was an episode that it was talking about how what if one day it was like almost like an alternate reality, like almost like Black Mirror, where it's like what if Black people got their reparations from each person that from the people that their past owners or past people, grandparents, great grandparents own them, and things like that. That helps you think. And in that, they also talk about the music side of thing. And as far as like rap music, I do think that like yes, it is something that some Black kids look up to them and like, hey, oh, I can be just like them, but we see that all the time in a lot of other things like video games like GTA and things like that. Like those kids still play those games as well. So I do think that rap plays a part, but I also feel for the people that make rap music because it's like this is how they express themselves through that music. You know, everybody has a talent, and that's kind of theirs, and I respect them for it, and I think that some people kind of almost sometimes take what they say
Out of context.
context. Yeah, like everybody thinks, oh, because he said he's from 63rd, now I'm from 63rd, now like they kind of like jump into beef that's not even about them, and they're not even from that state. And like I said, it's something that expresses themselves, and them rapping sometimes gives them an outlet and a platform, for their younger people. You see it all the time with other rappers helping other rappers come up, and also just like they use it to help their community and things like that. Like sometimes there are rappers out there that say bad things, but also rappers out there that say things that actually matter and help Black kids as well. So I mean, I do hear what you're saying where it can be detrimental, but it's a lot because I've recently Give Back Day that just happened. That was something that was huge. And I got to talk to one of the rappers there that I used to go to school with. I don't know if you guys remember him, Breezy Dre. Yeah. And talking to him, it was like, hey, like this is my life. I'm not like, and he's kind of like, I'm not like everybody else, but like this is how I express myself. And like I feel for him in that because like you have to, like, it's like how a painter represents or a singer or a rapper, anybody, like you have to express yourself in a certain type of way, and that's his form of art. And I more see it as rap is more just an art, and I think some people take it more literal than others, but when it comes down to it, it's an art. And,
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that I don't think it's detrimental. Just like as a topic, a lot of people do think it is detrimental to the culture, which I don't. I side more with you on this because nothing is really black or white. Things have its pros, things have its cons. Rap music has an outlet for Black people to like highlight problems in the Black community, and then there's also things where rap music is a heavy influence on glorifying drugs, sex, money, killing. It's like it's not all one-sided. It's like there's different levels to it, and honestly, I don't think it's not as bad as people say it is, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we don't even see it with just black rappers. I think there's white rappers that's out here talking about the same exact things, but because we grow up in the neighborhoods that the Black rappers are talking about, they more think that it's detrimental to us, and they think it's going to keep us in that same position. And like you said, I think it's just a little bit too outplayed, and it's a bit too overstressed at times and things like that. But go ahead, Johnson Jordan, who wants to continue.
I feel like I definitely agree with both of you two as well. That like I feel like with rap and with art itself, that if anybody having a platform, it's like, whatever that message is, it's like people are gonna take it. But like how you said with like there's those kids playing like GTA and other games, it's like they're still gonna do those things, but then like just art is using to, like you said with Breezy, it's like you're always expressing yourself throughout that medium. And then without that, it's like, especially with this, I don't even know if it's a real song, but I think it was a meme or just some type of sound. And it was a rapper, but like, instead of him rapping, he was almost like venting, and he was just saying all his feelings, like all the things that happened to him with like his mom and like his dad and like their divorce and everything that affected him. It's like, even though I didn't listen to him, but then like that also wasn't my type of music to listen to. It's like that, like it hit something inside of me that like I felt that like how he was expressing himself through that. You just listen all the things that was hurting him. And yeah, which is rap. I feel like it's not detrimental to anybody, but then it depends on how you take it and like how you interpret it, and that's like what's gonna be detrimental to you.
Yeah, and like you were saying, a lot of people like I think black music has been a staple in our community. I mean, when you look at the when you look at the Renaissance era, like with artwork and things like that, like it's just how we've expressed ourselves for so long. Like songs like the Cupid Shuffle, songs like I'm blanking on another song, but things like that, like those songs are kind of anthems, dreams and nightmares, things like that. Songs like that sometimes are like anthems to cities and nation, like not cities and states and things like that. And like those are things that like really like they're like, oh yeah, like he's putting on for our state, or oh he's talking about things that we can relate to and things like that. And some people just take it as, well, everybody's just gonna turn into a gangbanger because that's what they are. But there's people like Jay-Z, who my uncle was talking about, where yeah, he started as like a guy that was all about the gang, you know, and things like that. But as you see, he's grown to a businessman and he's grown to be, you know, a better man. And as you see him grow, people want to grow just like him. So, you know, as much as it can be detrimental, it can also be inspirational as well, because there's black people that have so many different stories, and you can see how they use their wealth to give back not only to their community, but they also give back to the world in general. And people want to be like that. So, yeah. Jordan, what do you think?
I want to bring up real
Okay.
quick,
Yeah.
before you go, Jordan. But like with Ice Cube, I'm pretty sure he was inside a movie called Boys in the Hood.
Mhm.
And then with that, I feel like that also highlighted not just rap, but like just black people and like their experiences in the hood. And so then having a rapper who I think actually went through things like that, he like it shows how rap isn't it's blatantly detrimental. Like it's not like black and white. It's set as, oh, it's all bad. That, you know, kind of like gave something for Ice Cube or even just other rappers to like, you know, express themselves and things like that.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I definitely think like with what all you guys said, it's definitely right. But I think it just depends on like what you expose yourself to. Like not all of it is bad. Like there's bad and there is good. It just depends on who. Like you say the cult. Like you know they say the culture. I mean, your kids don't have to grow up listening to all the bad rap music. You know what I mean? There is good rap music, like you guys said. There is inspirational rap music that have been in the struggle and they just like are venting. Like it's that art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that people also have to realize that, yeah, they're rappers, but they're also people. Like sometimes they don't exactly live the lives they say they're living. It's just they
Right.
have to do it to
Yeah.
make money. Like that's what they preach about, to make money. Like, but at the end of the day, they're still people. Like
And then there's
you're gonna
also some that'll actually live that life and then glorify it, which is the bad side I'm talking about.
Mhm.
But usually it's like people like just trying to make money and like get out of the situations that they were in. But then there's some rappers that once they get out of that situation, they go back and they give back to their communities. There have been many examples of this. I can't name any off the top of my head, but I definitely know of examples like
I
this.
mean, when you say that, I think of like J. Cole. Like he grew up in kind of like that kind of neighborhood, but he also like when you listen, if you like take the time to actually like look back and think about the things he's talking about, he's talking about things that matter, and he's talking about things that's going on in the world, and he's talking about things that, you know, that he wants to see change. And like, yeah, like he's giving back to his community and things like that. And you know, I think that's something that matters a lot. Sorry. But yeah, that matters a lot in the community. And sometimes I think people get too caught up in what's in the bad side and they forget about what's good. And I think that's what everything in the world. Some people just think, oh well, it's bad, so it's bad. But there's also good things to it. So you have to kind of take both in. And it's not just black and white. So yeah. But yeah, this has been a great episode. I think it's probably been our longest one. Sorry for this on this editing side, Judson. But
I got it.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys all coming, and I'm glad we got to do this again. Hopefully, you guys may see a lot of these guys a lot more often. But yeah, until next time, I hope you guys enjoy. Like and subscribe, and enjoy on Spotify, and by now we'll probably have Apple Podcasts as well. So yeah, enjoy that, and continue to give love and support, and appreciate you guys. See you guys.
Thank you.
Later.